Okay, everybody. Here's a quick video on what we're going to be working on for writing today. Now, you should have handy our story organizer right here, 20.5, where we mapped out our story about the boy who lives with the Bedouins in the Arabian desert back at the time just before Muhammad was born. And you had your spot for your protagonist, what the protagonist wanted, what problem they're trying to solve, their obstacle that were in the way of what they wanted to do, and then the resolution of how the problem gets solved. So you were supposed to take this and create your story. Here's mine. Let me read it to you really quick. Hakeem watched the other boys head out to watch the camels for the night. As usual, he had to stay behind. At 10 years old, Hakeem was small for his age, so his Bedouin family was afraid to send him out into the cold night for a camel watch. They didn't think he could defend himself or the camels from the pack of hyenas who loved to roam the area looking for camels to eat. So on this night, Hakeem sat at home feeling frustrated as usual. Suddenly, one of the boys came running back to camp yelling that a huge pack of hyenas were attacking the camels. Everybody grabbed their spears and swords and headed to the attack. Without thinking, Hakeem grabbed the biggest piece of firewood he could find and ran after everybody else. When he got there, the boys were almost in a panic as the camels were scattered. Before anyone could tell Hakeem to stay back, he ran to a group of hyenas that had a camel surrounded. He kept the hyenas away until others could come to help. I'll read that again. He kept the hyenas away until others could come to help. From that point on, Hakeem was allowed to watch the camels. Okay. So we're going to look at this page 21.4 as a rough draft. Okay. We're going to use this and we're going to look at and think about how we can make it better. And the way what I'm going to start with here is, and what I've already done is I checked. Well, no, I haven't checked it yet. What I want to do first is see how I can make it more interesting. I'm going to give myself some notes here. I'm going to say add dialogue. There's no dialogue in this story. I need to add dialogue. What would the characters say? What would a frustrated kid like Hakeem tell his parents? I want to go watch the camels and like everybody else. And, you know, what might they say? Oh, Hakeem, you're so small. We don't want you to get hurt. You know, things like that. What would the characters say to each other? It'll make it much more interesting. Also, I want to look for places for to use more specific details. So, for example, I was thinking about here where it said before anyone could tell Hakeem to stay back, he ran to a group of hyenas that had a camel surrounded. I want to change that. Instead of saying he ran to a group, this is like an attack, right? Almost like a battle. I'm going to change that to he charged at. Picture him, rushing at them like a warrior. He charged at a group of hyenas. He's got his stick up in the air and he's waving it around. Things like that. There's a lot more I can do here. Also, I don't know if anyone else noticed, but my ending it's really not that good because he kept the hyenas away until others could come to help. From that point on, Hakeem was allowed to watch the camels. That's just kind of a real simple ending. There's not much detail into it. What would the people have said? Oh, Hakeem, you proved your bravery. There should be some dialogue there. It should be like, from that point on, he was looked at one of the bravest young boys despite his small size. There's all kinds of things I could say. But really, the problem was I ran out of room here. So when we rewrite this, that was one thing. I don't know if anyone else had that problem. I ran out of space for my details. No one thinks that's just 2 pages. Oh, it's so long. It's really not that long at all. Okay. If you look at these lines are really wide apart compared to your notebook. 2 pages in the notebook's a lot longer than if it were in your and long distance. So what we'll do today is you're thinking about how you can improve it, and I'll be talking to you about what we can do to improve it. We're going to start rewriting it in our notebooks, all right, with better details, things like throwing in dialogue, using more specific verbs to describe actions and things like that. So that's what we'll work on writing today. So Kamani and Leslie, I probably won't get a chance to talk to you about yours, but you have an idea of what you can do to improve your story. And there are some people who have not still haven't even done a story yet. So I'll probably talk to those people first. I've never even gotten this from some of you still. So some of you are behind on this. All right. So we'll work on that today.